Alright, so you're able to actually explore something pretty and also very colorful at the same time. Like, for instance, there's a whole bunch of colorful flowers, and not to mention, there is a whole bunch of windmills. Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am of course back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 7 for the Nintendo GameCube. So last weekend is the fact that we basically pretty much dominated it for the sake of Neon Heights board, and because of that though, keep on getting very lucky with all that. You know, treasure chest usually contains a whole bunch of stars I keep on obtaining, so either way though, that was actually a massive flawless victory on my part, despite the fact that I did manage to have a couple of mistakes with all that bombs in certain treasure chests, but apart from those side of things though, I somehow managed to still win that board. So for this weekend in particular, both today and tomorrow, we're going to be hitting onto the forms of the 5th board in Mario Party 7. That's what appears to be buddy forms of Windmillville. As the title of the actual board itself, or the name, basically there's going to be filled to the brim with the forms of windmills that, well, in order to be able to get stars in this board this time around, it's going to be involved around investing. So meaning about the fact that you must able to actually use coins to able to actually invest certain windmills, which that'll be pretty cool though, especially noticeable about the fact that this is by far the uniquest board in the entire game. So yeah, let's just have a look around to see what the actual stuff features and such. So yeah, as you can tell, that there's abundance of flowers, as you can see, basically there's blue flowers, yellow flowers, and red flowers, and you name it. And for the amount of windmills you're able to actually come across into, there are 7 of those windmills to able to actually come across into. Like, some of those windmills usually contains 1 star, and some of them contains 2-star windmills. But there's also the 3-star windmill, which is always going to be placed onto the giant sunflower section, as you can see. Barely for that particular yellow petals, although as you can see right now, it's just on that giant sunflower platform. So, and yeah, as I said, it's all about investing your coins, so meaning about the fact that in order to get stars, you need to be able to pay a certain amount of coins on your investment for the windmills. Although, before we get into that though, there's a whole bunch of... Actually, there's not much of those happening spaces in this board. Like, one of them involves around trying to gather around the flock of sheep, and basically that's what I have to do. And there's another one over there, which basically it's all about collecting coins and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess that's as far as I can try to describe about this board. And as far as I'm aware, this board is actually represented with the forms of the country based off of Netherlands. Because obviously if you have been to Netherlands before, basically that country just managed able to go filled to the brim with colorful flowers, and also not to mention a lot of windmills. So yeah, that's how I can usually represent it with that particular country as far as this is based on. So... because obviously, thanks to the forms of whenever I watched the Spider-Man Far From Home back in last year or something like that, there was that one scene in particular that they did manage to win through Netherlands and all that stuff though. So yeah, I guess that basically I can usually just try to describe about it. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that specific the country this is based off from. So. Alright, another 4-player game, so, but at least we can able to go back to Cartwheeled again. So, yeah, if you couldn't tell already, I'm going to be using Yoshi for this board, because, well, the last time we actually selected Yoshi was actually back in Mario Party 6, from the likes of Snowflake Lake, because obviously Yoshi was awesome. So, yeah, there's no rush right to home about for the sake of trying to using him, so... So yeah, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that today's day is of course the 29th of January today, in this case in 2022 today, so meaning about the fact that we've only got about 3 more days to go until we move on to February. And also, as far as what, I believe Pac-Man has already mentioned about this ever since in yesterday's video, thanks to the forms of how the fact that, well, he now recently got started with the forms of the next Legend of Zelda Let's Play, which means he now finally going to able to do a Let's Play of is The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo, which we're really hoping that he won't come across into any graphical glitches here and there. Because unlike back in, well, originally we weren't going to be able to do that Let's Play back in, well, in 2018, the same time as Super Mario World Let's Play. But unfortunately, though, is the fact that on our The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past Let's Play, that our graphical card, or the graphical capture card, gets all glitched up and messed up at the same time. So, it's kind of a misstep when it comes to likely doing specific stuff like this. So, but let's just hope that that particular Let's Play will be a lot more better than it originally was thought. So as you can see, I managed to invest 23 coins onto the first ever windmill that I've managed to invest it onto, and basically that gives me a star. Although, this particular concept of investing something, we're able to reuse that from the likes of, until they'll do that investment again until Mario Party 8 roll around. But he forms of in one of those boards Koopa's Tycoon Town, and basically that board is also going to be investing as well. So at least it's pretty cool concept-wise, I must say this right about now, because, well, unlike in the forms of how it does it on Koopa's Tycoon Town, that in the forms of Mario Party 8, that if you try to invest more coins on one of those hotel buildings, basically though that your stars were able to actually increase based off of how much coins you're able to actually just to spend it otherwise. Which we'll point it out whenever when some toys or essentially someone else can able to actually focus on Mario Party 8 sometime in spring. So yeah, that might be some consumption. So as you can see, we're going back into Spin Doctor again. Now keep this in mind, is the fact that you're gonna have to pay attention to the forms of the, you know, based off of what color of those platforms you get onto. Like, for instance, that the blue platforms, or the spinning blue ones, will obviously go in full 360 spin, whilst the forms of the pink or red platform, spinning platform, basically though is the fact that you will able to actually, it always goes in like 180 turn. So yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. I somehow forgot to mention about that stuff ever since in well, since we've spotted this minigame ever since in, well, Begonia Peak, and also well, some other boards in general. So yeah, you probably get the idea. And because of that though, since I'm going to be using Yoshi on this board, so this means that the last time we actually see Yoshi on was actually in the forms of Pyramid Park, so far worth mentioning. And the last time we actually see Princess Peach, as you can see, for certain computer players, basically those other opponents are actually based off from, well, let's just say 2 princesses and 2 dinosaurs. So in this case though, we have Yoshi and Bodo as the actual love couple for dinosaurs department, and also for Princess Peach and Princess Daisy are both princesses. So first worth mentioning, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, you probably get the idea about the fact that you know what I mean. So yeah, talking of which with these opponents, you know, as I said, the last time we see Princess Peach was actually by the forms of being Grand Canal, the first board in the game, and same applies to Bodo as well. And as for Daisy though, the last time we seen her was actually by the forms of Pyramid Park as well. So yeah, just to give those characters some screen time for the second time, for the sake of the forms of the entire Let's Play so far. So yeah, you get the idea about that specific topic worth noting for. Alright, so we're going back to Think Tank again. So this time around though, I'm going to be able to be part of the team of 3 again, so... But either way though, there's not much else to say. Oh, and also during the forms of yesterday as well, I suppose I need to mention about that right about now, that you noticed about the fact that Pokemon Legends Arceus just recently came out yesterday for the Nintendo Switch. I haven't heard anything reviews about the game yet though, despite the fact that I haven't exactly looked upon that much of the game as much as everyone else does, because obviously this is more likely the Pokemon version of Breath of the Wild, which, to be expected because of the forms of the gameplay style, as well as some cel-shaded visuals and stuff like that, which, from the Switch game as it is, it does look pretty cool for the sake of the visual identity and stuff like that. But it's just the fact of the matter is though, is that I can't usually play Pokemon games as much compared to the forms of Kirby, Zelda games, or Mario, or Sonic, or even especially noticeable with other interesting franchises like Klonoa, or Crash Bandicoot, and Spyro the Dragon, and all the other franchises I was into. So it looks like Peach got her 1 star thanks to the investment of that windmill over there. So, but for some reason though, it's the fact that certain opponents managed to able to actually just to play it safe for the sake of likely trying to able to invest a little amount of coins compared to me, that I somehow managed to invest a lot of coins. Although, mind you, assuming if they were able to actually get even more coins in the future, mainly for like winning minigames or certain events and stuff like that, then obviously they were able to actually farm more coins and then they're able to take you over. So yeah, if someone else actually pays a lot more coins than you, basically though, the star that you've got is actually taken by someone else. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So it's all about investing, I'm telling you, which it does kind of reminds me like a Monopoly kind of way, except the fact that, well, Monopoly was actually pretty tricky to get used to, but when you play it more often, then you would able to actually get used to with the mechanics of the forms of, well, Monopoly game as a result. So, alright, so it looks like Daisy's invested 4 coins onto that 2-star windmill, as you can see on screen. And yeah, every time when that icon shows up, this means the owner of the windmill is yours. So, in this case, that Daisy now owns the 2-star windmill, for right now anyway. Although, not long now, until whenever until I decide to steal her hotel and stuff. Finally, new minigame, Bust Stormer. Seems like a lot of fun with this minigame. Move left and right to avoid the dandelions. So, yeah, basically it's the fact that we have to avoid the dandelions, and that's pretty much about it. Move control stick in the same direction as your partner to make the bee tilt more. So, yeah, it's all about cooperation, as you can tell. So, but relatively speaking, it's just the fact that, well, I feel pretty much more accustomed with the computer player, very much like the forms of how it does it on certain minigames like Bobsled Run, from the likes of both Mario Party 1 and Mario Party 2, and say applies to Superstar's version of that minigame as well, that basically the computer player does it for you. So yeah, there's nothing you need to worry about for the sake of likely for trying to, you know, sink in when it comes to likely the movements and all that stuff though. So I've almost beaten my new record, if only the fact that I always keep on having the exact time. From my record is actually 23 seconds and 34 milliseconds, but that's okay, because obviously that I managed able to get quite a few amounts of new records in the past, specifically on certain minigames like, you know, Pokepamel and all that jazz. I will say, the music is pretty cheerful too, especially noticeable, it does manage to fit the theme quite nicely, especially noticeable this is like a grassy, kind of typical grassy environment type of board, so either way though, that makes it a little bit more obvious. Alright, so since I've managed to pay 23 coins to be able to invest the 2-star windmill, so that means I've now got 3 stars total, so... However though, as you probably already know, from the likes of the forms of that duel minigame that we've already stumbled across, basically though, is the fact that if you do manage able to actually challenge someone, and after win the minigame, well, on the forms of the slot of Stupendous kind of event, as you notice, there aren't any stars around, for the sake of the forms of trying to win certain events. Like, lately the forms of the duel minigame, as I mentioned earlier, that the slot wheel does not contain the stars, because the only way you can get stars is all about investing. And also, that if you try to come across into a DK minigame, that you don't get stars either from the likes of the single player minigame. So that's pretty obvious, because the only ultimate goal for this is to be able to collect even more coins if you decide to able to play aggressively for able to actually claim those stars. for the sake of investing certain windmills and stuff like that. So, and also during the Bowser time, or in this case the Bowser minigame comes into play, I don't think Bowser will be able to mention lose a star if you lose the minigame, so it's just all about losing half of your coins or all of your coins. So yeah, that might seems a little bit more sense because, well, pretty obvious that you don't lose stars in this board. So, well, apart from the fact that if the computer players might actually play a little bit more dirty or aggressive at the same time, then you must be able to keep on fighting for that windmill itself. So, yeah, you get the idea about that. So it looks like Daisy's gonna lose a whole bunch of coins thanks to the forms of Bodo's Zap Orb Trap, and that means that she will lose a whole bunch of coins. So, yeah, that's as far as I can think about it. So yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What was your first impressions when it comes to the forms of, well, if you ever played Pokemon Legends Arceus game for the Nintendo Switch, because I'd like to hear your thoughts, because even then though, that since if you're the guys are the Pokemon fans out there, and especially noticeable if you're a die-hard Pokemon fan, although personally speaking I was not, sadly, because, well, I tried one of those games, but it doesn't give my investing to, so, but that's just me. Well, I still got some Pokemon games, like I said before, like Pokemon Snap on the Wii Virtual Console we released back in the day, as well as Pokepark 1 and 2, which I might try to consider trying to do those Let's Plays at some point. Like, I believe we'll do the first one at some point in summer this year, at least depending on the forms of the uploading schedule gets a bit, you know, muddled up at certain points, but either way though, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Okay, good, since I did manage to still win on that, so yeah, how's that for that one? And I think, if I recall correctly, that on the solo cruise mode on this board, the objective in this board is gonna be kind of like similar to the forms of Neon Heights, except we don't need to worry about the forms of treasure chests, that it does contain certain stars in there. Although the amount of stars, or essentially for that matter, on the solo cruise mode on this board, the objective on that particular version is that you have to fix 3 windmills. It doesn't matter how much windmills you're going to be fixing, so I think it's like somewhere. I think the windmills are always going to be in the exact same place. Like, I think that you might still come across into 7 windmills or something like that. Well, even though, mind you, it's been donkey's years since I actually last played Windmillville, for the sake of, not only for the party cruise mode, but also applies to the solo mode version as well. So yeah, I sort of misjudged on that. So, oh wait a second, yes, there are 7 windmills to be found, and at least depending on what mode you go into. So yes, I was definitely correct all this time. So yeah, and I think depending on what windmills you're going to be fixing, like some windmills manage to cost certain coins to be able to fix it. Like, I think there's some of them cost about 10 coins, and then some of them cost about 20 coins or something like that, and one of them is actually going to cost about 50 coins, which is somewhere on the sunflower bit. So yeah, that might be something worth noting for the sake of how much coins you have to able to actually fix the windmills from. So yeah, I think I can usually describe about that mode for the sake of the entire objective wise. So so close to play catchy turns. We still haven't got that darn minigame. Oh well, at least we were able to actually get some honey at the very least. And another thing that's worth noting for is the fact that I don't suppose that, although I'm pretty sure that Maxie has already mentioned about this ever since in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars Let's Play, specifically on the Super Mario 64 game, that apparently that yes, there will be leaks and rumors again, such as for instance that everyone is expecting there might be a Nintendo Direct at some point next month, much like the forms of how it does it on in 2019 and last year in 2021, but I was expecting it will happen at some point on February because, well, I get the feeling that in new forms of the Nintendo Switch era, where it comes to Nintendo Direct systems, they always attempt to start things off on February 1st, and then save the majority of other surprise reveals at some point in June, in this case during the summer in June, because that's to be expected with most E3 announcements here and there. And actually, I'll get to more on that in a second, because we have the first Bowser Time event in Windmillville, and this particular event right here is going to be involved around Mini Bowser will force the able to steal someone's coins in one of the Windmill's properties. So, in this case though, he's probably going to steal my coins in that particular bit right there, or that windmill rather. Even though, imagine if that Koopa Troopa right there can still technically see that Mini Bowser's body, and then able to recognize that someone's a thief and stuff like that, but apparently it doesn't, so there goes 4 coins, but nothing that much though. And there's also the Bowser Time event, where usually Bowser will sometimes manage to smash the windmill on any windmills for that matter, so it doesn't matter which one's which. So as a result though, he does a super jump mode, and then basically just, well, come into any other windmills and then just smash it entirely, and everything else will be wiped out. So that's a lot of devastation right there when that event usually happens right there. So yeah, I just was shocked able to actually hear about that. Well, actually, kind of thinking about it, I kind of wish I can able to get a bit of a good roll right there, because I'm also able to get my chance so I can able to actually just see that sunflower bit when I believe Peach, she was the only one managed to make it there, and then she'll go ahead and spend all 3 of her coins, so just to be a little bit more invested and stuff like that. So oh, something's worth noting for this board as well. There are multiple flowers you can able to actually hop onto to the next few destinations in particular. Although it kind of feels like it's kind of similar to the bridges from the likes of not just from Mario Party 4 in Bowser's Gnarly Party, but also applies to the forms of Sweet Dream board in Mario Party 5, that if one of those players managed to able to get into the actual hopping between those flowers, basically one of those flowers will change, such as for instance that Bodo just managed to get onto the right side of the board, so that means that she will get her opportunity. That I think the next windmill she was probably approaching onto is another 2-star windmill, so yeah, that might actually beg the question for it. Alright, so looks like Daisy's gonna take a ride on that particular flower glider and stuff like that, which that particular event right there, obviously you do need to pay 10 coins in order to be able to ride this thing, and then basically though, it can sometimes take you to either the left part of the board, or somewhere on the forms of the right side of the board, or on a rare occasion that you will able to actually go to the middle portion of the board. So, at least depending if you're lucky enough, so so close to play Spray Anything. Oh jeez, we still haven't gone that far off from able to actually get that darn minigame. But oh well, no big deal, but at least we'll still get more chances left until, you know, when minigame cruise comes into play. So anyway, and yeah, about with the forms of the flowers bit, that you can able to actually hop those flowers one point or another, that basically the actual color alternating between those flowers will change. So in this case, since that, you know how the fact that, well, we'll point it out whenever we get into the next turn. So either way though, we'll able to try our best to avoid those bombs, and especially noticeable, just don't touch the spikes, because obviously that will kill you instantly, and I got cornered, but thankfully the explosion doesn't count for able to knock me out, unlike that certain other minigame that I'll probably will talk more about it whenever we get into the extra stuff of how this game offers us to. So anyway, so I believe we're now on turn 7, so even then though, it seems to be more specifically though, that we've almost done with the forms of the Bowser Time events, although, mind you, we didn't see all of them, mind you. Like, I do definitely know for the fact that we're missing one of those events, from the likes of Pyramid Park, because obviously we missed out on that particular destruction or destroying 2 bridges on that path, and basically though, not only 2 bridges has been destroyed, but also 2 shops also being destroyed as well. So yeah, that sadly we did actually miss that event. And I believe there was also that one moment where I think there was actually one event from the likes of Neon Heights. Like, I think I already mentioned about this, didn't I? That is the fact that I'm pretty sure that, you know, if you're in first place while you're in a Grand Star lead, then basically though, that Mini Bowser will able to force you to able to lose 1 star if you're in first place, and hitting them in one of those chests. And then basically, if you come across into that, the chest do usually contain not 1, but 2 stars. So, yeah, somehow we missed that event either, because obviously every time you get a star, like I said, basically it just resets everything. So, guess there's not much else to able to complain about that for the sake of missing some of those events, honestly, because I know for the fact that there are a lot of videos out there for Mario Party 7. Specifically, some people out there, every now and then, manage able to play this game on an emulator, because obviously that game is like, you know, the second expensive Mario Party games ever, along with, of course, Mario Party 3 being the forms of the most expensive. So, because I think I've already mentioned about that ever since the very beginning of the playthrough, so yeah, not much else to say. Alright, so it looks like that Bodo, she's now at 2 stars so far. Actually, kind of thinking about it, I was originally going to be able to try to include Toadette in this board as well, but of course that you've already seen her ever since in Neon Heights, so because of the forms of the fact that I think this might actually be the first ever Mario Party game to able to actually allow guild players to able to actually decide able to play 4 of those guild characters respectively now. So in this case though, that one player can play as Princess Peach, the other one can play as Princess Daisy, and then the other one Toadette, and of course Bodo, which will continue that tradition until Mario Party 8, and well, not so much in Mario Party 9 though, because they only got 3, which I guess that's pretty obvious. And whenever we get into, although whenever they managed able to get Mario Party 10, they obviously bring back not just for the forms of Peach and Daisy, and also Toadette as well, but also they managed to bring Rosalina to the mix as well. So yeah, that's technically 4 guild players. So, alright, Clock Watchers, here we go. It's been a while since we actually played that minigame, kind of thinking about it. I think the last time I played this minigame was actually, I don't know, somewhere in Begonia Peak or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's that board. Alright, it's time to get our microphone ready and going. Start. So we have to aim for 8 seconds. Stop. Oh, right on target. Nice. And of course that the music is doesn't play, so unless if someone else gets, you know, screwed over. Well, almost anyway. And she's gonna aim for 11 seconds, so will she make it? Oh, a bit early, just about 2 seconds and 12 milliseconds, so, but hey, at least the music has gone back up again. So, I guess there's not much else I can honestly try to explain about the forms of, Windmillville in general. It's actually a pretty unique board, but, personally speaking, of all the actual 2 boards that actually involves around investing stuff, I do like Koopa's Tycoon Town a little bit more, mainly because of the forms of the environment you go to is actually very impressive, because, well, you'll see why whenever we get into Mario Party 8, so. And as far as for the forms of, oh yeah, let's get back to the forms of the guild players. At least, on Mario Party, Star Rush also has Peach and Daisy, Rosalina, and Toadette. But of course, you do need to unlock both Rosalina and Toadette first in order to able to let the girls experienced, you know, 4 guild players to be found for the likes of the actual, well, let's just say the best recommendation to play it is, of course, Balloon Bash mode, and also requires 3DS, so, yeah, that was worth noting for. And let's go ahead and invest, my 29 coins, so that way I can able to actually guarantee to get myself 7 stars total. Unless if someone managed able to get a lot more coins than I do, then they're obviously trying to steal it back. So, don't let that happen though. Well, it will happen eventually, so... It's a good thing I got that specific number for that slow shroom orb that I managed to use, so I can able to pay DK a visit. Maybe get some more coins? I don't know. Although, main likely though, because, I was hoping for a single player, because obviously I haven't experienced, Jumpman or, A Bridge Too Short yet, but, hopefully we will come across into that. Ooh, triple amount! I love the sound of that. So, hopefully, let's see what minigame are we playing, something a bit different. Same exact minigame as we've already played several times already. Oh, jeez. I think I've lost count of how many times we played that minigame. I mean, nothing to worry about, or nothing to be, negative about it. It's just the fact that it just feels kind of weird about the fact that, well, we obviously seen that minigame loads of times already, and I just really want to see the second chances with certain minigames as far as I'm concerned with that stuff. But oh well, at least I've got 15 coins, so if I triple that up, that'll pretty much lead me to 45. Goodness gracious, 45 coins I'll definitely gonna get. A whole bunch of those things, by the way, so yeah, that seems definitely quite a lot. So I should be able to actually just to get another star while simply able to actually go ahead and invest another windmill that's just right in front of me at the moment right now. So, alright, Peach is not going to use her orb just yet, although my guess is the fact that certain computer players always seem to able to save the metal mushroom orb until when the traps is right next to them, so... Alright, so it looks like Peach is gonna take a ride from that particular flower glider, so let's see what she was about to be going. Well, I do definitely know for the fact that she's probably not gonna go into that 3-star windmill, that's for sure, because she's obviously gonna go to the right side of the board, so... At least I'm safe from here, at least as far as I'm usually trying to consider with that. Alright, so it looks like Bodo's gonna use her egg orb, and somehow she gets a 9. Although, will she ever come across into that particular, the effect, what the actual egg orb can do? Well, I haven't exactly paid attention to the actual map itself, mainly because I somehow got distracted by other conversations about, how this board plays out, and also describe about the forms of the solo clues mode. That's basically what the objective will contain. So, yeah, I'm also able to actually just pay attention to it next time, so... I apologize for that. Alright, so looks like Daisy got the chemic orb, so, yeah, she's still not gonna invest that windmill, because it might be seems a bit too much, so... And all the once in a while, she'll probably take a ride on that flower glider just like Peach, and she's probably gonna hit on to the same way as what Peach is going to go. And she lands on the same spot as Peach was. Number 4, on second thought, battle minigame though, so it really doesn't matter what battle games we'll consider playing because... Oh, it was only 5 coins. Okay, seems a little amount, but at least on the upside is though, I think we'll probably play the final countdown. Because I think the last time we played that minigame was actually on, I would say in Grand Canal is the last time we actually played that minigame. So yeah, it's been a really, really long time, doesn't it? Especially noticeable after keep on playing Helicopter or other minigames in general. So just to show those off potentially. Oh no, I just got cornered! it doesn't matter, because 5 coins isn't exactly worth anything for my book, so I guess it doesn't really matter to me. So, who's gonna win this? And it turns out Daisy wins. Although, mind you, because I keep on thinking about the forms of that, the Superstars version of this minigame for some reason. Although, my guess is the fact that, unlike in the original version of the game, on the final countdown minigame, that, for instance, in the Superstars version, if someone actually falls off the actual, the counting platform, and basically, though, is the fact that it gets like a pretty cool echo splash sound effect. Whilst in this particular rendition of the final countdown, it doesn't do it. So, I could imagine on the forms of the top 100 version sort of does that, but it just immediately cuts for about a split second after that finish announcer voice, and then basically just fades to black, and they decide to get into the actual results screen design, very similar to Mario Party 9, Island Tour, and Mario Party 10. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna represent it with that, you know, that transition and stuff like that. But, anyway. Alright, so Pete's managed able to go 1 star from that particular investing that windmill, so I guess that's that. There seems to be a lot more tough competition at the moment for the sake of trying to invest, certain windmills as far as I'm concerned, so... Alright, so looks like Bodo gets the mushroom orb, self-explanatory, and she's still not going to invest that particular first ever windmill to be found, so... Alright, let's see what Daisy's gonna do. She's not gonna use any of her orbs yet, but she gets a 7, so kudos to her. And, of course, that she will get another star, but of course Peach's star will be stolen, so... Yeah, I guess that's a bit of a payback, I think. At least as far as I can usually try to describe it, though, but either way. And of course the red space that she lands on, so... Alright, so let's see what minigame are we playing next. Spray anything, spray anything. Oh, come on! We literally only got one 1 versus 3 minigame left. At least as far as I, managed to double check on the actual minigames that we have not played list, so but at least we're going back into this coin op bob minigame again. But this time around I'm gonna be on a team of 3, even though sometimes the computer players act like idiots whenever they manage to press the wrong button every time, so cause seriously though, it does remind me of well, you know, Fish and Drips from Mario Party 4, except it's just a bonus minigame instead of, you know, although it's kind of like the exact same thing, except you get coins instead of filling up the water, so I'm pretty sure you probably already noticed ever since in whenever we first experienced that minigame, so... Alright, so now we're on turn number 10, and it's almost gonna be Bowser time until the next turn. So God knows what the next event will it be, although we'll find out until later, so... Anyways, time to able to invest, I would say, yeah, why not, I'll go for 29, so that way I'll be able to save, 20 coins until for later. And actually, gonna think about it, this will be the last board that, speaking of the Bowser time event, that basically though is the fact that this will be the last board on Mario Party 7 to able to incorporate the multitude of Bowser time events, like for instance like 3 or more events on certain Bowser time events and stuff like that, whilst whenever we get into the final board in Mario Party 7, that we will come across into something a little bit more drastically different, at least as far as whatever I heard about. Certain things will happen, so... Anyway, so it looks like Bodo gets a 10, and she's probably not gonna able to invest more coins onto that windmill. It seems like I managed to able to face off against with the majority of the girl characters, so it's kind of strange. Although, mind you, that Yoshi was a male and stuff like that, so... Yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious for gender stuff like that. I've no idea why I bring that up, because, well, it's been a while since for that particular discussion I want to discuss ever since well, Night into Dreams Let's Play, that I'm sure that, I think Pac-Man did tackle for that game, didn't he? Or maybe I've lost count, so... Anyway, Lunatic again, but this time around though, I'm gonna be on the team of 1, so... Let's see if I can do this, like, quite flawlessly, rather than just letting one of the balloons will popped. So, at least I'll try. So, I can't really exactly know of how much stars you're able to get, or how much stars are there in total, for the sake of the forms of Windmillville, but I do definitely know for the fact that I think there is actually, well, as I said, there are 7 of those windmills to be found, so I get the feeling that there is 4 singular star ones, and 2 of those 2-star windmills, and obviously 1 of the actual 3-star windmills. So if I decided able to combine those few into 1, I would say that the amount of stars you can able to get up to in this board, I think it's roughly, well, I already mentioned 4, there's another 4, and add 3 into it, so that makes, oh yes, it brings us to 11 stars total on those windmills respectively. So, it doesn't add up to, like, more stars more than ever. Uh-oh, something real bad will happen right here. And looks like, yep, he's gonna take my windmill down. Smash! That's actually kind of satisfying, but also kind of depressing at the same time, because, well, that windmill has been completely wrecked, and I've lost my star in the process while doing that. But that's okay though, because since I got 7 stars so far, so at least I don't need to worry about that for the sake of time. So, also all of the coins has been completely wiped out for that particular windmill has been wrecked. So, yeah, I guess that's nothing I can honestly try to worry about. So, anyway, let's see what Bodo's gonna do. She's gonna use her mushroom right here, so that way she will, guaranteed to get a lot more movement there for, you know, for the running star, assuming they'll come into play for the bonus stars department. Oh, and by the way, there's actually another exclusive orb, but this time around though, exclusively on this board. And this what appears to be by the forms of the Bandit Orb. And basically, it's like a yellow colored orb. And what that does, I believe it allows players, assuming if you're able to accidentally land on, well, let's just say for example, if I had the Bandit Orb someplace, and then if I somehow place it onto a certain space, and then basically though, if someone else lands on my space that features a Bandit Orb effect, basically though, it will just able to take coins out of the windmill, so that way it will never harm you ever again. At least if I'm guessing correctly, because, well, I haven't played this board as that much either, but from what I've heard, it's actually a pretty fun board to go through. So, anyways, let's see what Daisy's gonna do, and, oh, thank God it's not me. Because, obviously I'm trying to aim for that windmill over there. Well, actually, I think my windmill is still me, so, I guess I don't have to worry about that, assuming if, some players manage to able to try to steal my property at any moment's notice. But either way, though, we'll, gonna have to concentrate on those other windmills, eventually. Alright, Snow Ride. To be expected, we're just gonna have to, you know, try to dodge everything, so self-explanatory. Alright, so I just got to gently just tilt my control stick, so just in case I could, you know, trying to dodge everything. Actually, kind of think about it, is the fact that eventually at some point, for the sake of not only for this board, but also the final board as well, that I believe those 2 boards combined, that until, you know, next week and, well, already today, and tomorrow as well, I think Windmillville might actually be one of the quickest boards to able to complete, at least as far as I'm concerned with the forms of certain amount of time. So, because unlike in, well, Begonia Peak and Neon Heights and occasional Grand Canal because of the Bowser Time event, and that's pretty much about it. That those few boards managed to able to make things a lot longer. So as a result though, hopefully it'll tone it down for a little bit for the actual game's length between Windmillville and the final board coming up. So I guess I don't have to worry about that. So alright, so I'll place in 20 more coins into the actual windmill, so in that case, that Daisy doesn't able to actually steal my property right here. And I guess I might as well take a ride on that windmill over there, or should I say, the flower glider. So, if I kind of think about it, I think the first time I actually spotted this this particular board, specifically in Windmillville, I believe that is because of the forms of the fact that they have managed able to still got that photo of this particular board, but that was the forms of back in E3 2005, and basically the image actually shows us the first ever demonstration of the 8-player kind of gameplay, or technically 4-team battle mode, and it does feel a lot interesting for that imagery back in the day. But then I found out they managed able to bring the actual exact same huts from the likes of the forms of Mario Party 6 until the final version of the game managed able to change everything from the huts and stuff like that this time around. Like, well, for instance, you know, characters are facing slightly to the left as opposed to facing towards you. So that's a nice little change, even for the forms of certain character profiles and all that stuff. Or the flower orb might be pretty useful for Peach and Daisy because, well, it seems pretty obvious that they'll just get coins out of it, so... Alright, so Bodo's gonna place her chemic orb somewhere near to the actual, the seesaw, and, also my, 2-star windmill. I actually couldn't think about it. She's probably gonna able to steal my 2-star windmill, is she? Ah, I totally forgot she has more coins than I do. I totally forgot that. Oh well, now my stars is now at 5 right now, so I guess that might be alright for my circumstances anyway, but at least I'm gonna have to cope with that. And of course she's not gonna increase her coins on that other windmill, but that's alright. And Daisy gets a 5. And will she take the actual, the flower glider? Yes, she will. I think there's like a, the 33.3% chance with these each, sections, so something's worth noting for. And it looks like she's probably ended up in... Oh, shoot. She's probably gonna able to steal my 3-star, is she? Oh, maybe she's not. So instead, she will, duel against with me. Although nothing to worry about this, honestly, because, obviously no stars come into play. Alright, let's see what minigame we're playing next. Ah, we're going back to Mad Props again. I was so close to able to actually play, Bridge Work, because that was one of those minigames we have not played. So, we'll play this again, so at least I'm hoping I can able to win this again. Alright, so just gonna have to memorize which button's which. Oh god, there's a rock right there. I think this is the last curve that we're about to be hit over to. Oh god. And look at that! New record! By 50 milliseconds. So, huzzah! I think I'm actually kinda getting used to with the forms of the controls like this right now. Even especially noticeable that, since that we keep on bumping into that minigame a lot of times. So... Okay, at least I'll take half of her coins, so I guess that should be alright. So that should lead me up to 25 coins right now. So, at least I don't know what can I do with those amount of coins I need to save it up for, but we'll see what happens there. Alright, speaking of such, we have another new minigame, Bumper Crop. Interesting minigame. Work with your partner to load 3 kinds of vegetables into the truck. You must load 2 of each one. So yeah, you can't toss while Shy Guy is holding up the X sign. Also, some veggies have no roots. So yeah, we just got to move around and pick up the actual vegetable with the A button, and that's all you really have to do in this minigame. I have to admit though, this minigame can be pretty tricky at times, I must admit, because there are a few times I somehow get either lucky with those veggies, or there are a few times I screwed it up because of the forms of how stupid about the fact that, well, I just keep on getting unlucky veggies I keep on picking up. Although, luckily for the computer players right there on the left, obviously got very lucky, so yeah, not too crazy with this minigame, so at least in Mario Party 8's counterpart though, it does look cool.